Hello and welcome to your Rochester Rundown for the week of October 15th. Let's get right to it. State Attorney General Letitia James has released the unedited body camera footage from the fatal police shooting that happened last week in Rochester. This video might be disturbing to some of you. Investigators say 24-year-old Simran Gordon walked into the Family Dollar on West Main Street last Wednesday and held the manager at gunpoint. They say customers were inside at the time and one employee was able to call 911. The body camera video shows two officers chasing Gordon through the store, then 6 gunshots. Police say Gordon fired the first shot and officers fired the rest. This case is still under investigation by the Attorney General's office. The Rochester Police Department has a new chief. David Smith took on the job Thursday. He served as the Deputy Chief of Operations under former Chief Cynthia Harriet Sullivan, who announced her resignation last week. Smith has been a member of the Rochester Police Department since 1992. A federal judge has ruled religious vaccine exemptions will stay in place for New York healthcare workers. Justice David Hurd making that decision after 17 healthcare professionals filed a lawsuit against the state, claiming their rights would be violated if the mandate did not allow for religious exemptions. Governor Kathy Hochul says she plans to appeal the ruling.
Sometimes you have to do a calculation of what is important, and to the extent that someone's personal beliefs interfere with my ability and the people of the state of New York to be safe and secure, then their beliefs are important and deeply held. But we also have a public health objective, which is overriding, and that's the position we're taking in court.
Hochul also says it's vital to know that a patient in the hospital is being cared for by someone who will not potentially pass the virus to them. After 19 months, the U.S. is preparing to open its border with Canada and Mexico for non-essential travel early next month. In Rochester alone, experts say Canadians account for 15% of yearly tourism. In the Finger Lakes region, that number is even higher, especially in the winter, thanks to outdoor activities like skiing. After a tough year for businesses during the pandemic, the border reopening could provide some extra help at an important time.
We're down about 9% in visitation, but Canadian travelers make up 10 to 15%. So this is going to fill that gap and put us back to over 2019 numbers. So we are really excited about this.
Travelers coming to the U.S., they will need to provide proof of vaccination. 3 local men have now been charged in the January 6th Capitol riots. James Malt is from Brockport and was taken into custody on October 6th at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. He was stationed there since joining the Army back in May of this year. Charges against Malt include assaulting and resisting officers and committing an act of physical violence on the Capitol grounds. A Hilton man, Cody Mattice, was arrested last week and appeared in court Tuesday on similar charges. Dominic Pizzola was arrested for his alleged role in the insurrection back in February. A new bill signed into law will create Rochester's first ever housing court. The Rochester Housing Court Act creates a separate part of the court exclusively devoted to actions and proceedings involving the enforcement of all housing codes. This is the first time Rochester has had a portion of the city court devoted to solely a housing rights division. Rochester Police Officer Denny Wright is the recipient of the Governor's Police Officer of the Year Award. The award recognizes a single police officer or a team of officers for an exceptional act of valor, symbolizing the service of police in New York State. Officer Wright was confronted by an armed assailant back in 2019 while responding to a violent family dispute. He was attacked and blinded that day. Despite his severe injuries, Officer Wright was able to prevent the man from harming anyone else. That's all for this week. As always, we'll see you next Friday.